Good morning, guys. How are you? Happy Wednesday. Welcome to Thoughts of a Maven. I am Dion Watts Williams, your personal branding coach, consultant, and biggest cheerleader for brilliant Black women, women of color, women who are doing the doggone thing, but you are sick of being the best kept secret. So, we are live here every single Wednesday at 10 a.m. Eastern. And today we're talking about being able to communicate your value, your personal brand in a way that people get it. Okay, so I'm here to tell you if you can't explain what you do in the sentence, maybe two, your brand probably isn't clear yet. And so unclear brand can lead to a confused audience, and a confused group of people will not buy from you or hire you. Okay, so if you have questions down below, I want to hear from you. But yes, come on in. Let me know how your week is going. I know I have a lot of new connections and followers on LinkedIn. So, yes, feel free to introduce yourself. And I love, love, love talking about all things personal branding, positioning, LinkedIn confidence, and positioning. Because one thing they do not teach us, right, in society, and then when you go to school, is how to talk about our skill sets in a way that makes us the obvious choice. Okay. And so if you are really struggling, right, in particular with how to talk about your brand, you are in the right place. And I invite you to join me, right, for Maven Day. Maven Day is my virtual brand lab for ambitious women. And this is a live 4 hour working session with me where I'm helping you take that big goal, that big professional goal that you have for your business or for your career. And I'm helping you map out in 2026 where you're going, who you're meant to serve, how your personal brand can open doors, and how to talk about yourself in a way that is aligned. Okay, so make sure you're going over to workwithdion.com. But yes, let's talk about, you know, why this isn't really, it's not an insult. Okay, so let me just level set, right? But if people can't explain what you do in a sentence, right? If someone has to think too hard to describe you, they just won't describe you. And if they can't describe you, they can't advocate for you. And this matters more than most accomplished professionals really realize, right? Especially if you're a high achieving Black woman who've, you've built a career and businesses on excellence, right? You have earned degrees, you've led teams, you've delivered results. But when someone says, what does she actually do? Right? And then that answer turns into a whole paragraph. That is not going to travel well. So, yeah, let me know down below. Can you succinctly, and feel free to type your pitch, can you succinctly talk about what you do, your personal brand, in a reasonable amount of time, right? In a way that people get it. But yeah, let's talk about how this looks, right? When your brand is fuzzy and it shows up in ways that feel familiar, right? I want you to be able to recognize like the red flags. Okay, so let's talk about it and let me know if this is resonating with you down below in the chat. So, the first red flag that your brand is fuzzy and you probably can't describe your brand in a sentence or two is that people are like nodding, very polite, but they don't act, right? They might say, oh, yeah, that sounds great, but nothing moves forward, right? There are no referrals, no invites, no opportunities, right? Engagement without the conversion. Conversation is great, but you want that conversation when you're networking and in these spaces to travel, right? To take you somewhere as it pertains to your professional goals. Okay, guys, good morning. Thanks for joining us. Welcome to Thoughts of a Maven. And we're talking about why it is so important that you are able to explain what you do in one sentence. And if you can't do that, your brand is probably a little fuzzy or a lot fuzzy, right? You probably need some help with that. So the second red flag is that you tend to over explain. You're like providing additional context, running down your credentials, which, by the way, you are not your credentials. That's another conversation. You're giving all this backstory because you sense confusion, right? You're sharing these things about yourself, but it just doesn't seem to be landing. And that's because clarity is missing. And it doesn't mean that you can't be multi passionate, multi hyphenate. Someone like me, I have a 9 to 5 and I also have a business, right? But there's a way that I can talk about my brand that feels cohesive and that hits the target. And it takes a bit of practice. Okay. And that's the stuff that I really am so good at helping my clients do. Okay. Number 3 is that opportunities feel slightly off, right? The panel discussions, the partnerships, or even the roles that come your way, they aren't bad, but they just aren't aligned with your expertise or your vision, right? So if there's a misalignment between the opportunities that are coming your way and the people that are approaching you, you might want to rethink how your personal brand is being presented to the world. I often see these posts on other platforms. LinkedIn is my sweet spot, but on Threads or on Facebook, and people are complaining about how there are no opportunities on LinkedIn. And the one thing I always challenge people to do is to look at what you're projecting out into the platform, right? Or maybe what you're not. Maybe you're not doing anything. Usually, what I found is that people who are complaining about that, they aren't really taking ownership of the thing they have control over, which is their personal brand and their strategy. Okay. Guys, good morning. Welcome to Thoughts of a Maven. We are here live every single Wednesday at 10 a.m. Eastern here on LinkedIn and on Facebook. And we're talking about, the importance of being able to explain what you do with brevity and succinctness. I'd like to call that your one sentence story. If you can't tell your one sentence brand story in a very short amount of time, I'm going to say maybe even 2 sentences, your brand needs help. Okay. You are in the right place. The next red flag is that introductions just don't do your work justice, right? Colleagues or clients, if you're an entrepreneur, struggle to summarize what you bring, right? You end up being described as, oh, well, yeah, she does a lot of different things. And it's okay to be versatile. But when people are describing you that way, that's actually ambiguity. And remember, if an audience is unclear, they don't know what to do with you. They don't know where to place you. And this next one is really, really big, guys. You feel like you're performing instead of leading, right? We talked earlier about over explaining, right? You might be in meetings, in pitches, or networking situations. You're explaining instead of owning your authority, right? If you are showing up in these spaces and it feels performative to you, that could be very taxing. And that is also telling me that there's clarity missing. Okay. Guys, cultivating your personal brand isn't about your ability levels or your capability, but it is about precision. Being able to nail what it is that you do, who you help, what your secret sauce is, right? With brevity. A strong personal brand allows you to say in one sentence, I help X do Y so they can Z. Someone put that down in the chat. I help X do Y so that they can Z. That is the basis for your elevator pitch for your personal brand, right? It is clear, it is memorable, it is transferable. That one sentence will travel for you, right? It's going to help guide introductions, conversations, shape referrals, and attract the right opportunities. And so, listen, if you're struggling to articulate what you do in a sentence, you're not a failure. You're not alone. I have had to exercise that muscle for several years, but it is a signal that your brand has possibly evolved, right? And it's time to catch it up with your experience, right? And this is the work that we do inside a Maven Day, right? We refine your positioning at Maven Day. I help you clarify your audience, craft the language that reflects who you are now and not who you were two promotions ago, okay? Because when your brand is clear, you don't have to chase visibility or opportunities. Those opportunities will chase you. So, yes, registration right now is open for Maven Day. It's happening on Saturday, the 21st. And so, if you did not get in the room, um, go to Maven Day or work with Dion.com/Maven Day. If you're seeing this after February 21st and sign up for the wait list, okay? I do offer this a couple times a year. This is a virtual brand lab where I help you roll up your sleeves and get super duper clear on your professional goals, the direction of your brand, right? Helping you flesh out who your brand soulmate is. Who is that audience that you were meant to serve? And yeah, we help you with your elevator pitch so that you have that one sentence description of your brand. And of course, I'm going to give you all the templates and worksheets and tools so that you know exactly how to stay on track with all the great things that you're learning after our time together. And you're going to walk away also with a framework for your content pillars, right? Because all of the women that I work with are thought leaders and experts. But the difference that separates them from their competition, right? The winners are the ones that are more visible. And so your content pillars will help guide your visibility strategy. So you'll have your content pillar framework, a clear roadmap for your personal brand, and you'll get replay access that you can revisit the training at your own pace. But guys, just know that you are too dope to sit on all that brilliance and that there's a whole community of people that cannot step into their next level until you embrace yours. But I hope this blessed somebody. I will see you guys next Wednesday at 10 a.m. Eastern for Thoughts of a Maven. Peace.